Hi there, welcome back to the channel. I've been sitting here just like taking a couple of deep breaths. It's like I just need to get into my own energy. Someone else's energy is around you and influencing you, causing you to be defensive. I do feel like they mean well. Whatever it is that they're seeing or however they're looking at things is through their own lens, which does have value in the way that they do things in their life. Just remember that it's their energy and their perspective and their way of looking at things. They want you to do things the way that they do things. Just remember you're not a robot, but they're also not trying to craft you the way that someone else did in the past. I feel like you're a little bit defensive to this other person's energy because of a situation in the past. And it could even be a situation with them. There's another video that I did that the title is Defensiveness is Causing You to Lose Something. Just know that defensiveness, it's a trigger from something from the past. And it could even be something from this person in the past. Take a couple of deep breaths and don't act out of defensiveness. Just try to balance yourself first, ground yourself first. And then look at it objectively. Where did that trigger come from? That trigger came from somewhere in the past. They said this thing to me, and it made me feel it made me feel like they were judging me. And in the past, they could have been judging you. But you were in a different place back then, too. And it was like they were trying to put their beliefs on you. And it was through the lens of judgment. They were judging you before. Now, it's more they're just hoping you'll tweak things a little bit, and it's not out of judgment. It's like the difference between judgment and constructive criticism when it comes to the way you're approaching something. Your defensiveness has the potential to break down this situation and have it be this self-fulfilling prophecy and have it become this old situation again. You have to take ownership for your defensiveness and recognize that it contributed to the way things played out in the past. Because you could feel their judgment, but you also reacted to the judgment in the moment instead of removing yourself from that situation until the trigger died down. And it's like in the moment, you weren't able to see clearly because you got very defensive and were meaning to protect yourself from their judgment was based off of the fact that they didn't feel good or they didn't feel safe or they weren't seeing things as if there was another way to see things. My way or the highway. My way, this is the only way to see things. The eyes of judgment are pretty much always going to say that. And it could be that that's the way they wanted things and you just weren't aligned with it. Don't doubt yourself and don't lose who you are while still being open to, I have the desire to grow and I can't always see the best way to do that. And so this perspective is offering me the opportunity to grow a little bit and to understand things from a different perspective, not from the perspective of judgment, but of growth. You have to get out of defensiveness. Okay, you may want to go back and watch that other video. It's like a week ago or something like that. You have the potential for really getting what you want. if you stay open to it. There's like enlightenment here in the way that you approach situations. When you see the way that you get defensive, it's a big opportunity to grow and to get what you want. What is it that you want? Like abundance, the way that you see the world, like you're being asked to like really embrace that, and the input from those that really do have your best interests at heart and want a partnership with you because they value you. Okay, so whatever it is that they're presenting you with, saying, I'd like to talk about this behavior or this thing that you're doing or whatever, they do have a real desire. They do value you. And it's not that they're trying to change you at your core. They value you and the way you go about doing things. But they have valuable perspective based off of their, the way that they filter, that is meant to help you grow. They're not saying it because who you are isn't good enough, but it's like in this partnership, I have this perspective of like, what if you approached it in this way in order to achieve this result? Because in my experience, this result right here has been very successful for me. And so can you shift that? And you're like, if you are not defensive, it is this partnership. They are wanting this partnership with you. And it is I feel like there's a lot of valuable partnership. The defensiveness came from, in the past, this imbalance of, you're amazing, you're doing all of these things wrong, you're amazing, you're doing these things wrong, you're doing these things wrong, you're doing these things wrong, but you doing these things wrong was a reflection of all this defensiveness, and not feeling good enough anyway at your core. There's a certain level of value, self-value, that you've come into that it will be reflected in this other person. They do value you. Your feedback is important also, as long as you're willing to receive and consider this other perspective and stuff too. Okay, so balance yourself first. That defensiveness, it's a trigger. Where is that trigger coming from? It's coming from the fear of being judged, ridiculed, criticized, told that you're feeling bad about yourself, doubting yourself, second-guessing yourself. Balance that first. Just go into it with an open mind, knowing that that's their perspective. You get to choose how much of that you apply, but I do feel like there's a little bit of that should be applied to like the way that you view, work or a project or relationships or whatever. It's not just your way of seeing. If you're coming into a partnership with someone else, like this could be like a boss-employee relationship too. There is this valuable middle ground that you both can step into, but it can't be like, this is the way I do things and this is the way I see things, but you also can't always you can't become a robot either. There is an aspect of you that you are meant to apply to it. Just keep that in mind. Know what's theirs, know what's yours, know where that middle ground is. Feel where that middle ground is. When you're defensive, you cannot feel where that middle ground is. I do feel like this person is not coming from judgment. It's coming from more of like a boundary for what is okay for them in this relationship here. Other people's boundaries sometimes make you defensive. Okay? That's what I got. Love you guys.